special edition is on South Africa, highlighting the tourism champions who burn the midnight oil with their passion for South Africa. South Africa is a kaleidoscope of unique, iconic, hidden gems intertwined with world-renowned top 10 attractions, namely the Kruger National Park, Table Mountain, Robben Island, Cape Winelands, the Drakensberg, Isimagaliso Wetlands Park, the Durban Golden Mile, Blade River Canyon, Vilakazi Street, which is home to 3 Nobel Peace Prize winners, namely Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, and Albert Luthuli. South Africa also is the foremost suppliers of gold and diamonds to the world. Or you can choose to sip wine at a famous wine farm, or consider the birthplace of world democracy and follow the footprints of legends like Mandela and Gandhi to victorious freedom. We offer a diversity of cultures, delectable cuisine like biltong, boerewors, malva pudding, chakalaka, braai and bunny chow. And our unique, captivating attractions are also on the menu. As a country, South Africa continues to inspire ourselves and the world with unique, new, better ways of overcoming challenges. Innovation inspires new ways to discover the roots of life, best describing the natural character, values and fabric of the people. Tourism is everyone's business in South Africa. Today we have an indeed special young man, a tourism champion in the ostrich capital of the world, a person who has so much of energy that he has been the driving force behind Buffeldrift Game Lodge. Andries, my friend, welcome. It's so wonderful to see you.
Bunny, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I really look forward to chatting to you today.
Absolutely, Andries. I mean, you are in a very special place in the world. Definitely the center of the universe for the ostrich industry.
Yes, very much so. Everybody sort of refers to Oudtshoorn as the ostrich capital of the world, but not a lot of people know it's a real little gem. It's a tourist mecca in South Africa, in Oudtshoorn, because there's so many things that people can actually do to come when they come to Oudtshoorn. I must be honest with you, I started Buffeldrift 15 years ago, and in those days, everybody still used to come to Oudtshoorn for one day. Those days are gone. You've got to come and spend 2 or 3 days in Oudtshoorn if you really want to experience everything that there is in Oudtshoorn.
Wonderful. Andries, can you tell us a little bit more about Buffeldrift and your highlights of the being in the industry in the last 2 years, pre-COVID?
Yes, for sure. I've been at Buffeldrift from day one. I built it out of the ground. So I've been here for 15 years. So for the past 2 years, it's a matter of we didn't invent it, but we perfected it. For the past 2 years, we've built Buffeldrift up. So when you come to Oudtshoorn and you land up at Buffeldrift, we've got so many activities just at Buffeldrift alone. We've got elephant experiences, we've got game drives, we've got meerkat safaris, which is a real wonderful thing. And now, if it wasn't for COVID, we would have been up and running now with a cheetah experience, a free roaming cheetah. We actually go and walk and you can actually see them hunting for themselves. So that's still up and coming as well.
Very, very interesting, Andries. I think your cheetah experience is going to be your great draw card to welcoming guests post-COVID. Don't you think so?
Very much so. And it's we're part of a meta population. which is run by a Dr. Vincent van der Merwe in South Africa, where they actually they place cheetahs at different places, free roaming. So we're allowed to breed with them, and as soon as we have cubs, then our cubs, he will say, we need that little male in Mpumalanga, we'll need that little female in Northwest, so that there's no interbreeding between the cheetah throughout South Africa. And he controls 54 of these farms like that. And we're now starting off with a free roaming cheetah experience. So I mean, you'll be going out there with our game viewers, and then our game rangers get off and we deck them with the satellite collars, and you'll be able to, between 30, 40 meters of a free roaming cheetah that hunts and everything for themselves. So if you're lucky, you might even see them catching a springbok and something while you're out there on your walk.
It's going to be very interesting, because that is exactly what our international and local clients want to come and see, is animals in their free habitat. What other activities do you have at Buffeldrift that is unique that we could basically tell our clients about?
I think another unique one is actually our meerkat experiences. Everybody loves the little meerkats, and there are a lot of places that actually exploit it and they feed the little animals and things like that. We decided we're going to go with ecotourism, and the people can go out in my vehicles and go and see them in their wild and in their natural habitat and environment. So what we did to actually get them to that level, we used to send out our game rangers, and they would go and sit close to their colonies. And the meerkats at the beginning, they would come out and then off they would go. But eventually they got so used to people sitting there and watching them, so now they've actually tamed themselves. So we don't let the people get off the vehicle. We don't let the people touch them. We don't let the people feed them. So the people go out there, and my game rangers explain the whole hierarchy of the little meerkats, that there's always a leader, and then the females, there's always one female that's got to stay behind and look after all the children when the others go out to go get their food and things like that. So it's a whole experience, and we never let the people interact with the little meerkats. So it's something very special.
Oh no, I agree. I have done that. It really is very special. And I think that's where one can learn to marvel at nature. All right, Andre, tell me now, I know that COVID has really impacted a lot on all the hospitality industries. But what are your survival plans during these months at Buffeldrift Game Lodge?
Yes, it's, I think, as you know, right throughout the world, it's actually very difficult. But for us here at Buffeldrift as well, seeing that we in the tourism industry, and we've got accommodation for up to about 70 people. We've got a restaurant that can take about 250 people outside on the deck. The whole of Buffeldrift is around a dam with hippo and everything, so people can actually come and sit here. All that is just dried up. So what we decided that what we're going to do is that obviously we got the relief scheme from the government, which we can actually apply. We decided we're not going to retrench a single one of our staff. We want to keep our whole staff, because we know as soon as everything is back up and running, we're going to rely on them again. So we decided we're going to look after them in this time, even if we just make sure that they get a little bit of money so that they've got food on the table. I had a whole meeting with my whole staff and explained to them exactly how we're going to go about it, so that we can just say, as soon as we can open up, you have got a job again. So it's not a matter of that somebody's going to sit out in the street. So they've been looking after me for 15 years. So we're now looking after them during this COVID time, so that we can actually guarantee them a job as soon as we can open up again.
You're truly practicing Ubuntu. Really, as a South African, that's Ubuntu at its best.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you for that, Andries. Now let's look at the future. What type of traveler do you think is going to be coming through to Oudtshoorn post-COVID?
Bunny, we're quite big in the international market, and I've been doing a lot of marketing over the 15 years, at the ITBs and the WTMs in London and things like that. So what we've did up to now, we started off when we were 15 years ago, and we were sort of really pushing into the group market and things like that. And eventually, over the years, we became so popular that we were quite big into the FIT market. So we cut our group markets up to only 30% of our market. We're now obviously going to revert back to a little bit of more groups again, just to get the ball rolling. But luckily, we've already got our big tour operators from the Netherlands and from Switzerland, where we are already big in the group market. And they've assured us that that's going to continue. So at least we've got our 2 group markets already in place. So as soon as things open up, we can continue. But then we're definitely going to go and concentrate more on the group market again as from 2021, irrespective of where the market comes from.
Okay. Your markets in Netherlands and Switzerland, can you explain what kind of safety and security protocols you'll have in place to give them peace of mind? Because we know that those markets are very sensitive. Some of them are very afraid of what Africa is like.
Yes, very much so. I think the TBCSA has actually put protocols there in place for all of us to really follow. And what we did, I've got appointed a young gentleman here on my staff to look at all those things for us. And he's got everything in place for us, exactly what and when and how we must do it. And we've even published all those on our website and sent it to all our sort of tour operators and said, there we are. As soon as we open up, you can be sure that all the protocols are in place for your clients to be very safe.
For the future, your cheetah experience is going to be one of the greatest draw cards in encouraging the Netherlands and Swiss markets to come through to experience that. Would I be correct in saying that?
Very much so. Those are the type of markets that really like those type of things to happen to them. So yes, I can actually really see our cheetah project really taking off. And I don't know, Bunny, you're probably aware as well that the Western Cape government have set up a fund where they've identified gaps in the market, in the West Coast, in the Overberg, in the Karoo, in the Garden Route, and they've actually setting funds for people that are now sort of seeing something, a gap in the market. And they've actually specifically identified the route to the Kango Caves and the route around the Swartberg and things like that in the Karoo area, where they want people to actually get more activities going to attract more people to the sort of a Western Cape. And I'm going to sort of present my project of my cheetah project to see whether the government are also going to come to the party and give us funds for that, because obviously they're going to be free roaming cheetah. So they eat. So obviously I'm going to have to stock springbok sort of every 6 months. I'm going to have to buy 50 odd springbok to stock it for them. That's their prey. That's their food. So hopefully we're also going to get funds from the Western Cape government to see that we've now identified the gap with them, and we've got an activity now for the people that are coming past on the way to the Kango Caves and the Swartberg Pass.
So you're really practicing the true meaning of ecotourism, where there is sustainable development even in the animal kingdom.
Very much so, yes. Bunny, we've even formed a foundation here at Buffeldrift, and we've also got a gentleman that we've appointed. He's in charge of the whole foundation to actually also try and raise funds for the cheetah and for obviously our animals in the Karoo, especially with the 18-month drought that we had. We obviously had to feed quite a lot, and we've actually got quite a lot of funds from abroad as well for that. And also as part of that foundation in our community, we've adopted a little school and of 80 that have got 80 little children, and now we're actually feeding them and everything as part of our whole foundation as well. And even our clients that come are allowed to go and visit the school and everything as well.
That's very, very important, because that's sustainable tourism. When the locals start benefiting from whatever tourism projects we have or participate in, and they see the value in it, then you know that the project is accepted by the community, and there is a personal interest in the project. So the project will only grow and develop post-COVID. And you have an wonderful example of a sustainable tourism project, and I'm very sure that the Western government will look favorably at your funding your cheetah experience.
Yes, thank you, Bunny.
All right, in closing, Andries, what would be your message to the tourism industry, to your potential partners and stakeholders?
My whole outlook was, a pandemic, everybody knows, is not a short-term thing. So I think everybody that actually looked at it as a short-term thing, those are the people that are burning their fingers. You should have actually had a look at the view, pandemic 6 months minimum, before you can actually think again. And that's how we tackled it from our side. So to me, for the people out there, hang in there. I mean, tourism is a wonderful, wonderful experience. So please try and hold out and try and just keep the fingers crossed and try and keep your staff and build. When things happen again, we can hit the floor running. That's how I look at it.
Wonderful, Andries. Always so positive. You have been our mentor for so many years, and you have motivated us to keep on going. We are a very interesting tribe of people, because we feed off each other, and you are definitely one of the very positive African voices in the Oudtshoorn area.
Thank you, Bunny. Thank you.
On behalf of the Dope News, I really want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your projects that are forthcoming in the future, and would like to wish you everything of the best. And it's Bunny Bhoola reporting from the Dope News, signing off, and looking forward to meeting other tourism champions in South Africa. Thank you. Thanks, Andries.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.